But nevertheless, so there was a lot of time that passed, but it was clear that he was about to rule the wrong way.
Did you hear from everybody then afterwards in your life? Because I sort of like, okay, we have to put this on the show right now.
So we're having a hearing about the fact that you don't have the audio recordings from the AG. Got it. Because you can't hear him anyway. So what do you need it for?
A viral insult exchange that shook Congress. Marjorie Taylor Greene's jab about fake eyelashes backfired when Jasmine Crockett unleashed a devastating retort. In this video, we break down every word, every look, and the enormous fallout that followed. You won't believe what Donald Trump had to say about it, and before we continue, if you appreciate this content, please take a moment to like the video and subscribe. It's free and it helps our channel grow. Thank you. Now back to the video. Marjorie Taylor Greene must have thought she was gearing up for her big moment, the one where she grabs the spotlight and delivers an insult so cutting everyone remembers her name. And, well, she definitely got remembered, but for all the wrong reasons.
And ultimately, she, just
She attacked you,
She
personally.
did. She did.
Yeah, she started it.
She did.
Bleach blonde.
Bad built.
Bad built.
Butch body.
Butch body.
That's right.
Was that floating around in your head before this?
No.
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 Holy cow, that just came out?
During a tense congressional hearing, Greene launched into one of her trademark tirades, this time zeroing in on Democratic Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. Instead of focusing on, actual policies or governance, Greene made what she assumed would be a scathing remark about Crockett's fake eyelashes. Yeah, because apparently that's what's at the core of our national issues now, mascara and glue. The room had that heavy, awkward silence for a beat, the kind of silence where people are desperately trying to process whether they should cringe or laugh. Greene's comment, dripping with her usual condescension and a half smirk that screamed, "I've got this in the bag," wasn't just a cheap shot. It was a moment that reflected a deeper, exhausting pattern in modern politics. When the debate gets tough, attack appearances. For Greene, this wasn't new territory. She has built a reputation as someone who bypasses nuance in favor of jabs designed to provoke, distract, or grab a viral clip. And sure, she might have thought she landed a clever zinger here, but all she actually did was light a fire she wasn't remotely ready to handle. See, what might have seemed like a petty, off-the-cuff insult actually hit on larger, more charged issues. Comments like Greene's don't just stay surface level, they're laced with layers of stereotypes and social biases, especially when aimed at women of color in positions of power. For Black women in politics, the target is constantly shifting, from their hairstyles to their tone of voice, even to their fashion choices. And Greene's jab fit this tired mold perfectly, unfairly focusing attention on aesthetics over intellect or capability. This squabble wasn't just about a failed insult, though. It was a perfect snapshot of how hyper-personal attacks in politics are becoming more common and more brutal. You can't scroll through the news these days without seeing some soundbite of elected officials throwing shade, talking over each other, or descending into straight-up name-calling. But here's where Greene miscalculated. While her attack was meant to diminish Crockett and knock her off balance, it set the stage for one of the most biting comebacks Congress, and frankly, the internet has seen in years. You could see Jasmine Crockett's face in the moment Greene dropped that fake eyelashes line. There was no flinch, no sign of defeat, just the calm, subtle shift of someone who knew exactly what was about to happen next. It was the political equivalent of the "this is fine" meme, but instead of sitting still in the flames, Crockett was gearing up to become the fire. What Greene didn't count on was Crockett turning the one-liner into her moment, a pivot from being on the receiving end of pettiness to completely flipping the script. And Crockett didn't just respond, she dismantled. Every word Greene had thrown earlier instantly lost its power. But before we dive into how Crockett delivered that clapback for the ages, let's focus on what this exchange really highlights. The hunger many voters, especially younger ones, feel for leaders who won't shy away from standing their ground. Crockett didn't just clap back, she stood up and subverted everything Greene's insult attempted to define her as. The predictable playbook of policing a Black woman's appearance backfired in spectacular fashion, and Greene, for all her bluster, seemed to have no idea what she'd just unleashed. When you think about it, this wasn't just a dramatic mic drop moment. It was an inflection point for how the public, especially on social media, views and uplifts leaders who call out bad faith behavior. Greene might have been hoping to undermine Crockett's poise, but all she did was magnify it, inadvertently elevating her opponent to a whole new level of visibility. And Crockett's response? Well, let's just say she didn't stop at reclaiming the moment. She transcended transcended it. But more on that in a bit. Keep watching, because this isn't just Crockett versus Greene. This becomes a moment Congress, and maybe even US politics won't forget.
I've got to do what's right for me. So when you look at what people are offering, what their platform is, whether it's, aligned with making sure that the convicted Orange Jesus, but that there's so much more that we need to do. We still know that housing is a struggle. So many people are not able to build that generational wealth because they can't buy a home right now because of interest rates. And does it look like divisiveness, or does it look like someone who at least may not be perfect and I may not agree with wholeheartedly, but I know he's at least working for me?
Jasmine Crockett didn't just respond to Marjorie Taylor Greene's insult with a clapback. She dropped what might go down as one of the most iconic lines ever delivered on the congressional floor. Without missing a beat, she shot back with razor-sharp precision, describing Greene as bleach blonde, bad-built, butch body. The entire room froze, as you could almost hear the mental sound effects of a record scratch echoing across the chamber. Crockett's delivery was the true knockout here, not frantic or overly defensive, just confident and deliberate, like she'd been preparing for this moment for weeks, while Greene unknowingly handed her the perfect setup. The explosion on social media was almost instant. Within hours, clips of Crockett's comeback had been shared thousands of times, with captions ranging from "This is how you handle a bully" to "Jasmine Crockett is officially my spirit animal." Memes followed in droves. One particularly popular one superimposed Crockett's head onto the iconic superhero landing pose, complete with a caption calling her Congresswoman Clapback. Beyond the humor and entertainment value, though, this moment tapped into a growing frustration many people feel about political discourse. But Crockett didn't just sit back and let the moment speak for itself. She capitalized on it. She turned what could have been a fleeting viral moment into a full-on movement. Crockett trademarked the phrase B6, a nod to the shorthand for bleach blonde, bad-built, butch body, and used it as the centerpiece of a new merchandise campaign she dubbed the Crockett Clapback Collection. From t-shirts to mugs, people jumped at the chance to buy into this cultural moment, and the proceeds went directly to benefit House Democrats. This wasn't just a clever way to fundraise. It was a masterclass in turning an insult into empowerment. Crockett transformed Greene's attack into a financial and political boost, amplifying her platform and reminding others not to shrink under these personal attacks. Crockett's strategic brilliance didn't stop there. By officially trademarking B6, she sent a loud and clear message. This moment wasn't incidental. It wasn't just about playing defense against a bully. It was about reclaiming the narrative and, frankly, making it work for her. It also highlighted how younger, bold politicians are rewriting the playbook, where social media engagement and cultural relevance can redefine what it means to win in politics. Crockett didn't just clap back. She packaged it, sold it, and made sure the story became about more than a petty insult. And just like that, what started with a throwaway insult about eyelashes turned into something unforgettable. Crockett's ability to control the narrative, not to mention her knack for giving bullies a taste of their own medicine, left a mark far beyond the walls of Congress. And somehow, even after dominating the headlines and steering the conversation, she wasn't done making an impact. Jasmine Crockett's clapback wasn't just about shutting down Marjorie Taylor Greene. It was about taking a stand against the nasty, childish culture dominating politics. When leaders like Greene weaponize insults instead of ideas, it drags the conversation to rock bottom. Crockett flipped the script, showing that resilience, wit, and integrity are still powerful tools in a political arena filled with chaos. It makes you wonder, are moments like this the spark we need for a new, unapologetic generation of leaders? Let us know your thoughts. Can bold voices like Crockett's reshape politics, or are we stuck with the circus for good?